Yes, I'm here in my friend Angie's house. This is
Hello.
Angie, and we have this cool, very cool recording studio. Their production of a new channel called The Relationship Room. Yes.
Yes.
So Angie was there with me yesterday. I wasn't expecting it being an outdoor session, but it couldn't be more perfect. We
Oh, it's a
really
field.
brought the whole energy up from the ground and expressed it in a way that so I think some of these people never really experienced it before.
Yeah, people were so happy to move their body. They don't get a chance to move their body, and one person was like, "Well, I just want to do something other than yoga," you know.
Mhm.
So
Yes.
it's just another way to move your body, and they don't get that chance to do that, or for whatever reason. So here was an opportunity, and they wanted more. They were like,
Past.
where can we see you do this more, you know?
Speaking of
Yeah.
which, Stephanie, remember she was in our circle in the front house? That
Yes.
dragon lady, dragon lady,
Who? What's it? What's
the
it?
purple hair lady who
Yes,
came
yes.
from I
Bethany.
wanted to say
Is that her name?
Stephanie,
Stephanie.
yeah,
Yes.
from Friendswood. She just pinged me as I was pulling in the house. She said there's this Love and Light Market in Kima, and
Mhm.
she thought it would be perfect if I could bring free dance over there. She wanted to.
She's doing a Love and Light market.
No, she is a vendor
Yeah, yeah,
there,
yeah.
but she wants to connect me to the host of that event, a series of different markets happening
Right.
on
So
a
you can.
monthly basis. She
Mhm.
wants me to go do that.
That's awesome.
So that I guess the our little dance on the social media made people think that how can we bring more dance to life? Just like the folks in the participation, we have 10 lady and one man. I was like a solid
We have
anchor for young energy right here.
in the group.
And so three of them said, I just want more dance in my life. And that tells you something, isn't it?
Mhm.
Right?
Well,
Ah,
is related to joy, and we need more joy. There's a lot of fear mongering in the world right now. There has been so,
mhm.
and so what is a way of moving through fear? It's also asking for joy, right? So you address,
Exactly.
but you
Yeah.
also bring in the other positive emotions to override. Like there's more to life than just fear. There's also joy, and for me, joy is movement.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's always a saying when you are trying to resolve or solve a problem from a state of mind that's the same as how the questions or the problem was raised in the first place. You're never going to get to the solution that vibes differently because the bottom line is how are we looking at our issues and our life from a different perspective, a different angle, even in some cases, different plane. You know what I mean, right? Angie, we did talk about vision board, and I want to share that vision board experience a little bit since we are still in the early stage of 26. Last year when we did our vision board, that was March, well, I want to say 5th. It We gathered at my home. Angie helped with cooking, preparing the meal and delicious Turkish tea.
Mhm.
And so
Ooh,
I bought all the materials, got a bunch of magazines and glues and pens and you name it. So there were, I believe, eight of us did a vision board night. It was a lot of fun, a lot
Yeah,
of
I liked it.
yumminess, and then we shared of what each of us desire in this year.
Yeah.
I personally, I said, I want more travel, I want more community time. And I will tell you, you probably can see from my postings, I have got a whole lot more, probably more than I have desired
I'm
in the
probably, I think
first
I did
place.
less travel. was happy to do less travel because I was traveling. I think
Hey,
too
you're on
much.
vacation every day here.
So now I'm happy here. Yeah, so now I don't want to travel. I want to stay put. This is where I travel, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's different anchors in different things, even though for me, the um the desire to see new places, the desire to experience new things led me to quite a few adventures, including retreats and pure travel adventures. I still believe that there are things that didn't quite happen as how I envisioned, partially probably because I have not seen that far. But vibrationally, if I look back, for example, I've started Claudia, this is probably new to you. I didn't talk much because I don't know if I could finish it like last time. 10 years ago, before I purchased the studio, I had a vision of studying traditional Chinese medicine and make the studio fitness and wellness. You probably heard me talk about that before. She and I went way back.
Mhm.
And life in the studio happened with a full-time job. I just couldn't do it anymore. So one thing led to another. My last semester was the spring when I started to operate studio. 10 years ago. Can you believe it? Uh-huh.
That's
So
amazing. That's so cool. It
so
seems
I'm
to
going
be
back.
a
This
cycle.
is my semester that's begin last week. I am so thrilled. And in one way or another, I was like, can I do this again? Right. I still have a whole lot going on. That full-time job didn't really go away after 10 years. I still need it for the goodness of financial sustainability and economic sense. I still needed that. But at the same time, I do feel that because of the things I did last year, how I have been in the community, connect with different people, women who are going through different stages of life, I felt the need to truly understand our nature, understand where we are in our seasons, and also live more in attunement with nature. This is the reason, part of the reason that all of a sudden the things that I felt in my bones, the 24 solar terms start to come back. The traditional Chinese medicine wisdom start to come back. And the works that I do and the talks I do, even the events I do that I do, all kind of tie in together with that seasonality in mind, but more of micro season attuned. So that this is why the seasonal mandala came about, and I really love what it has come together and how some of you are so interested in getting to know this particular body of work. So I have prepared a few slides. The focus today is talking about the warm winter paradox, the fact that we are still having quite a sunny above 0 degree weather. It's beautiful. I'm here by Galveston Beach, a gorgeous place that I can't wait to wrap up this call and eventually just go walk the beach now, right? But at the same time, we are in this period called the Xiaohan, and in about 2 days, actually sometimes Monday, it will become Dahan, the deepest yin of the year. After Dahan is going to be the beginning of spring, February 3rd or 4th. So we are living in this period that's considered the deepest yin, the yin of yin, versus hot summer, the yang of yang. So I prepared the slide in a way to share some of the perspectives on how we are honoring this particular micro season, but at the same time, how can we align with what's happening in the cosmos space, in the environment, in the climate, so that it doesn't become something that we are contradicting with our own seasonalities. One of the major contradiction is in the Western world, we always call for New Year resolutions right about January. And by this time, gyms are super packed, but by the end of the month, then everything fades out, right? So there's a science behind it, if you will. That's because we are still in winter. So I'm going to start to share the screen here with the few slides. Let me see, how do I do that? Share screen. Perfect. Let me know when you see it. Okay.
Okay, I'm beginning to see the screen.
Right, there we go. So there is a bit of a yin and yang solar terms, and I will do the introduction, then we lead to Xiaohan and Dahan, and how can we handle this winter a little bit better. Now, obviously, Claudia, I know you have been seasoned in this Eastern wisdom for a while, but for the sake of the rest of them wanting the recording, I'm going to start with the basics, right? But feel free to bring in your own thoughts, questions, and how we can make this more of an interactive and engaging. Similar to you, Angie, I don't know if this concept is new to you or not, but sometimes going back to the basics with the beginner's mind give us new perspectives, right? So in the entire cosmos space, how the ancient view our world is with the concept of opposite extremities. Everything can be separated for either on the extreme yang end or extreme yin end. The biggest example is the sun, the sky are considered yang, and the earth and everything that earth nourishes are considered yin. In a day, the high noon is considered yang, midnight is considered yin. If you look at a subject, if it's more material, you can consider it yin, but it's more functional, then you can consider it yang. For example, you have a hand. Your hand itself is considered yin, but when your hand reach and grab something, that function is a yang function. So between the yin and yang, you can simply separate them by looking at how the principle of mutually supporting, they are completing each other, they also consume each other. You eat so you can transform that energy to do things. The food that you take in is the yin, and the transformation of energy to complete your daily activities is yang. So with that yin and yang, then it becomes this Tai Chi movement because they are mutually consuming and completing each other, and they are transcending into one another, just like what day and night are circling and moving. Where we are right now, we are in this little dot, which means we are in the deepest yin. We are at midnight. In the seasonality, we're in the deep winter, and we are rising towards spring. You see this white little tail that start to come up this way. That means the yang is rising, the yin is towards its peak. Now, within the deepest yin, there is a little flame. That little white dot is considered the seed of yang. This is why I was so happy yesterday we have a man in our dancing circle. Normally it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, we are honoring the yang, and there's a symbology behind everything that we do with 10 women and 1 man dancing. Obviously, he's not the kind of alpha male yang, but still it gives us a way of looking at the world that we are not just, total femininity, total earthy, nothing else can be incorporated because they are in transit. We are in transit. We are transitioning from one season to another, from day to night, from night to day, from our spring all the way to winter. Okay, so far so good with that? I'm not going to go very much deep into the Bagua here, which is the Taoism way of breaking yin and yang further. You can break yin and yang further into hot and cold. You can bring it into spring, summer, fall, winter. Certain season will carry certain characteristics of yin and yang. There's also the elements that becomes a part of this further manifestation: heaven, lake, fire, thunder, wind, water, mountain, and earth. That becomes a way to not only recognizing the elements in the world that we live in, but also make these elements become a tool to serve. Bagua in the ancient wisdom can be used for predicting, can be used for investigation. It could be used to read a person's life. It is as much of a complexity of a system. There's a I Ching that gives a lot of those details. I'm not going to get in further, but I do want to talk about the yin and yang in our body. If you look at the material versus functionality, you can say the actual physical flesh is the yin. The activities, the aura we have, the energy that we produce is the yang. If you look at the bodies left and right, you can say my left side is more yin, my right side is more yang. I'm reaching with my right hand. I'm more of a use left hand for the fine tunement. Right. From the navel and above, you can say that this is the yang part of my body. Navel and below is my yin part of the body. Inside our organs, there are the yang organs that holds essence, that produces essence, and then there are the yin organs that discharges, that releases. Releases. Okay, so if you look at the body, we are not all that different with the nature. There are organs that are tasked to produce. There are organs that are tasked to detox, and so on and so forth. Right. So in our winter time, the organs that needs the most of neutralization is our kidney and basically a reproductive organ system. In Chinese, even though we say kidney, it's not the actual kidney themselves. It's the holistic system that govern the water, govern the heavenly essence, and govern all the reproduction, even the sexual system organs. Okay, so from that perspective, in the deepest in this time, our goal is to retain that warmth, retain that little flame that is begin to rise as a part of the seasonal transition. So far, so good. Any questions?
I'm good. I know what yin is and I know what yang is. I can identify if you gave me a quiz.
Yeah. So when you look into a seasonality, when you look into the body, where that season's associated with, for example, the kidney, like mentioned, is associated with the winter. The nature, the element that aligned to kidney is water. The color that's aligned to the winter is dark, is black, right? So water is blue, black in the Chinese 5 elements and 5 color theories. So there are pieces and pieces of these that we'll talk about down the road that's relevant to this yin and yang, hot and cold, and a little bit of the 5 elements. So let me talk about that real quick. So if we believe the world is fundamentally either a yang or a yin or somewhere in between, everything that's happening on this earth will be associated to nature, an element that start with creating fire, right? And then there's the water. That's also the yang and the yin, right here. Can you tell, right? fire is hot, water is cooling in nature. So that is yang and yin. And from there, the fire creates ashes, which becomes the earth. In the earth, it buries and creates the metal, and metal also can turn into water. Water nourishes the wood. So there is that cycle as well. You can tell certain elements that are more yang elements and certain elements that are considered more of yin elements as well. In each of these 5 elements, you will find the organ associated with. The heart is the fire, the spleen, stomach, the GI tract is the earth, which is, how you take in the nutrition and transform it to energy. Metal is the lung. We sing, we breathe the air. Water is the kidney. So this is where I want to focus on liver and gallbladders are associated with the wood, which is more in the space where you can find the moving chi a lot more, getting angry. Sometimes we'll call it your liver is too much of a yang. You become angry so easily, agitated so easily. That is considered a sign of the liver qi, either it's being stagnant and finding a way to burst out, or it is just in excess. But what I want to focus here today is on the yin, on the water side. So you can see kidney is the associated to the yin, and the kidney's corresponding organ is the bladders. You probably have the experience, or the experience, if somebody who is having a little bit too much of cold, and they wanted to go to urination. That is a signal of reflection of the lack and then the stimulation. Right. So winter is the season, cold is the climate, storage is kidney has the double function of storing and producing. Black is the color, salty is the taste of the food, ears, right? And then also emotion is related to tears. Now, if we want to nourish this, and you say, well, you know what? Even though I am in this winter season, but this is not the coldest time. We have had a cold front, but it feels like spring. There's a lot of wind. Did you notice my wind chime was going nuts last night because we have so much wind, but it doesn't necessarily bring the cold air in. Partially, I'm not going to go too much into it. Our climate is changing, but the 24 solar terms don't change. And I will show you why. Our climate changing, like our clothes, we can put it on, you can take it off. We are still in the deepest winter in the climate's time frame. And this is because winter comes when we have the winter solstice, when the sun is becoming in a certain direction, which is this is I wanted to say 23.5 degrees is how you would be able to measure it from the horizon and where the sun it is in the sky. You can tell even in our high noon right now, it is going like that, east to west, not necessarily like summer all the way to the top. So in this time, you might say, oh, you know what? The winter solstice is already over. How come the cold season is still yet to come? The reason is because our Earth, the oceans are like the big thermal battery. So if we have El Nino and such, the ocean is warmer than usual, then we'll have a warmer winter. So far, so good, right? So the delay, this is called a seasonal lag. Even though the sunlight reaching the Earth is increasing since the day of winter solstice, the effect of the winter coldness is not yet to arrive. It all depends on the seasonal solar wind and all those other things. But the point here is our sun's direction, the position, relative longitude in the sky is becoming higher by the day. This is why we have a little bit more daylight as we go into the spring. At the same time, the coldness is not quite here, which is a good thing for us
Oh,
who
it's gonna
wanted
get
to.
colder, you're saying?
It's gonna get colder. Yes.
Yeah, I guess so. I was
Yeah.
born in a
So
blizzard.
this is why I'm saying,
Just so that you know, like when you're looking at the coldest times in, I'm going to say in Houston, we actually have freeze days more in traditionally in February.
mhm,
Cold days
mhm.
are not in December. The cold days are in January and February, and
Yeah.
specifically here in Houston.
Yeah, yeah. And this is why I think it's important to bring in the solar terms because it gives us that framework of reference. If you notice, we have these summer solstice here, winter solstice here. Yes, the mouse works. Summer solstice here, winter solstice, and then spring and autumn equinox right here. Notice where they are. They are in the middle of the season, not necessarily the beginning of the season or the end of the season, which means where are we? Right now, we are in we call it minor code. Here, this graphic, they call it slide code. We are transitioning from the minor code into great code or major code, January 20th. And look where we are. We are still in winter. So this is where we reach the deepest yin before the spring comes, the yang start to rise. So last couple of weeks ago, when I started to teach this body of work, we were in winter solstice, got into slight minor code, and now we are at the time we are preparing for that great code, which is the deepest yin of the yin. But within that deepest code, you are waiting for that little seed to alchemize, to rise. This is the reason that I'm saying don't do New Year's resolution. Don't go into that vision board just yet. With the time isn't quite there yet. You can talk about it. You can marinate it. You can think about what you want to do differently, recapitulate what had happened in 2025, what had worked for you, what not, versus I'm ready to jump the hoop and go into a brand new adventure and not carry all those credit with you already, or all those lessons with you already. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this 24 solar terms is a body of knowledge that don't change. Like every year in the Georgian calendar, it falls into about every 2 weeks also, you turn the dial 360 degrees of the sun in the earth. You will be able to break it down to every, I want to say 23.5 degree or so. So by the end of the year, you kind of mash it into a cycle. Every year, it falls in about the same time frame. And we can use this kind of framework as a reference to know that the Western calendar is just a date keeper, but here this is actually more aligned to nature. If you look a little closer within this chart, you will also see the astral signs. We remember winter solstice, they talk about Capricorn. This is the reason they talk about, oh, we are now in the Capricorn season, we're now in the Aquarius season, so on and so forth. That's where it come from. Okay. We talked about the seasonal lag and the fact that warm is not equal to yang. It is a manifestation of yin, but it's not yang itself, right? So because of that, our weather is warm, you still need to nourish your yin. This is not the time to go all out like dancing like crazy like us yesterday. It's not necessarily a good time to do it. Number one, I have a job to do, right? So I have to make sure that we nurture that space and give people enough so that they can walk away, feel that they have a breakthrough of some sort. And I believe at least a couple lady who had that yesterday.
I feel like every one of them had that.
One of them said, "Oh, this is probably my favorite, it's the best class I've ever taken." I heard that over ear, but she was talking to someone else. I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, I heard you.
That's
And
nice.
thank you, right?
That's
But besides that, very high intensity yang activity is a way basically to burn more yang, which means what? If your nourishment is not quite there and you burn your energy too fast, it's going to come back and consume more yin. If your yin is not well nurtured in the first place, then in our body, it's going to be manifested as I'm lacking of energy. Oh, after an extreme event like a party all night, the next day, like today, I am just wanted to lay back and do nothing. There's definitely that circulation that's happening, and we want to understand more how it is showing up in our own body. Everybody's different, but the general principle is here. Warmth can come from a strong yang function. It can come from too much of yang. In the case of sunlight, if you got too much sun, it will show up as heat. But the heat itself is not yang. Make sense, all right? And from the yin's perspective, so material to function, if your material supply in the body is not adequate, and the yin and yang balance, in a way to say, if you are not somewhat in the equal measure, then it will appear to be empty heat. It shows up as a heat, but is actually a deficiency in your supplies. When you lose weight, you feel like the energy is not enough to carry through a day. That is why. This is why we say eat, especially during winters, right? During winter, when we wanted to make sure that we have enough nutrients to supply and to be able to nurture that core strength, so that when the spring comes, when really the real hardcore activity is coming in the spring and summertime, you already have that body ready. So there is a lag in our body on how we functionally attune into the season as well. There are other facts that contribute to the heat in nature, warm heat. Something comes from exterior, a lot of stimulations, right? Emotional heat, anger, frustration, as well as sometimes stagnation can turn into heat. Meaning, if you are not circulating the water, if you're not circulating the say if you have a thermal that is not properly ventilated, then the heat become stagnated and constantly it become hotter. It does not mean that there's more heat. It just means it's not properly disseminated. So when we look into the yin and yang and the hot and cold by its nature, it gives us a way to self-diagnose. Where am I? What season am I in? What my body feels like today? Am I spending too much without depositing anything? Am I eating so much that I can only lay on the sofa, but I know I should get up and do some walking around? So there will be a principle that we can apply to our daily lives with these type of knowledge. It comes with more practice. It's not like a decision system that just come by nature. Eventually it will become a second nature to you. So now let's talk about the winter solar terms of a major code. There are 6 winter solar terms. So you will have 4 seasons, and 6 for each season becomes 24. This is where the 24 comes from. We have a start of winter, minor snow, major snow, winter solstice, minor cold, major cold, right? The cold is whether when it arrives, the Earth outside of Houston respond differently. The rivers are frozen, the plants going into hibernation, the animals going into hibernation. They're hiding underground until say the snow melts and the first creak of birds started to sing. Then they know it's time to unfold. right? So in the field, because the 24 solar terms are used like farmers atlas, right? In the field, when the farmers going into this particular phase, they check for the grains they have stored for the winter, because the grains will be used not only for winter consumption, but also it needs to lead to the crop to next year. You see that length from winter all the way till June, July timeframe, where they run out of all the grains. There will be a time called 青黄不接, means the green and the yellow are not going to be connected. There's going to be a starvation somewhere between May and June until the summer crowd started to produce something they can eat. So when they check in the storage, winter will be, after harvest, will have the most storage. And this is why we pack up our fatty tissues during winter as well, because we are storing for the winter time. Now, season change, and we have so many modern technology for comfort. It doesn't always happen that we don't need that much of a storage anymore, but the general principle is the same. So if you have rains or dry seasons rather than snow, the snow serves as a pesticides. When you have a good snow year, there's an indicator there will be harvest next year, because what's happening is the snow, number one, serve as the protectant of the earth. So everything underneath won't be fully frozen sub-degrees. The snow is actually keeping that layer of warmth like a blanket, number one. But it also kills the pesticides, which means there will be less of a pest infection next year. So this is why they say when there's a good snow, there's a good year. But when there is not so much of a cold weather to kill what no longer serves and to restart the new year from, then we have to do something to make sure that we do that winter hardening ourselves. This is why going out for a walk during the winter days is actually a good thing. I'm challenging myself to go out more. I came from North China, where we have sub-degrees at this time, but because of climate change in Houston, I no longer love cold weather. I don't even go out when it's under 50 degrees. So another reason to say that sometimes our mind are telling us something that don't necessarily always serve us. So in warm winter, it's actually encouraged for you to go out and feel that cold air, because our body need to live the full 4 seasons. So instead of waiting for a sunny day to go out, try a rainy day, try a windy day, just to experience the 4 season to its full effect. And for farmers, they also prepare the winter, prepare the soil for spring, right? They also protect something that they have already nourished, because there are some vegetables starts during winter. The sprouts are weak, so they need to protect them. But when the first light of spring comes about, those vegetables will be going into a full growth mode. This is why we do seedlings right now, right? So this is also the reason when you look into what's happening in the natural world, reflecting to our own personal lives, we can ask ourselves, are we preparing for the seedlings? Are we going into that full growth mode? New Year's resolution is a hardcore full growth mode from day one, January 1st, I must do this, this, and that. And just notice that subtle differences between what this is asking us to do. We want to keep our storage full. We want to make sure we prune the unnecessary old branches out so there will be opportunity for new growth. We want to prepare and cover our seedlings. And for those seeds that need a little bit longer winter hardening, let them go through that. So regardless of where we are in the season, you can find wisdom in these type of things. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
So I promise it is almost finished. So that leads to how do we recognize these nature's rhythms and make it as a part of our wisdom. So the wisdom for major code is deep rest. So Dahan, you can consider that the last stillness that clarifies, that purifies. So we wanted to make sure that we have enough of storage. The receptivity of yin means we will receive, we will nurture, we will collect, we will process, but not necessarily go out and make new things, make big things. Definitely not the time to start new business, new adventures, and such, right? The nature also calls for calmness, the relaxations, the tranquility of the crispy airs give us that calmness. You feel the sky is deeper, even like bluer in nature. There's also the intuitive ask of yin to enhance our inner wisdom instead of seeking out for solutions. And lastly, the nurturing of our body is a must. This is the self-care and compassion time. So there will be multiple suggestions made today. Choose what fits your body, your current season in life, your relationships, and the environment that you are in. So we can honor all of them and make a good judgment call, make that your own choice, and then take what is available for you, enhance it with micro habit building. This ties into last time when we gathered, I walked you through a micro habit tracker. Yes, I hope you are doing something with it. And I will share this much. Claudia, I would love to hear what you have used it for, but I'll share this much. My sink has been sparkly clean for 6 days out of 7. I'm loving it. The little things, once you put your mind to it, there is a build up of consistency. There's going to be better result. So in this table here, I made some suggestions on the daily rhythms what you can do for morning, midday, evening, and pretty much any time of chosen. Choose one or two, something that could be added to your daily routines, even takes a minute. Yeah. For example, morning, you can go out real quick barefoot on the ground. I don't suggest to stay too long on the barefoot adventure because the bottom of the feet is where the soles of feet is where the kidney meridian starts. So that piece need to be keep absolutely warm. But bare feet on the ground is a way to connect with the earth, and it also energetically it lets you ground better. So you can choose to find your balance, even if it's a split second. I don't really recommend length per se, just a way for you to feel the connection. There are better or other ways to do that. Like I'm using a grounding sheet and in bed, I feel refreshed in the morning. So the grounding practice is very important. The second one is really reduce our screen time and use more of a natural light. This is the only season I would recommend to sleep in. To not necessarily rush out of bed if you could, if there is no work demands and such, allow yourself that natural light to come out first and then receive your first natural light before your screen time. Slow breath, long exhale, again, nourishing of our chi, nourishing our yin inside. Midday, we have gentle movements. This is the time I don't really use sunscreens because I feel that we are already sunlight deficient. If we can receive a very softer version of yang with our current sun's position in sky, it will be good for us to do gentle movement, walking, hiking, swaying, spiraling your spines just warm the core. It's the bone dance that we need to nourish the kidney, the bones, and everything that supports our yin material. Warm grounding meals, recommend lots of soups, and limit overstimulation like a caffeine or alcohol. Evening low light, again, checking early because our time of the daylight is still very short. Checking earlier to bed, and then unplug before bed. We have also other quiet rituals like journaling, reading, stretching. And if you are building the micro habit of bullet journaling, this is a great time to do that. 5 minutes unwind, let everything out of your mind so you can sleep in with peace. And lastly, we love tree hugging. When we went out hiking, we hug the trees. So touch everything that is nature. Hum to soften the vagus nerve, which is, calming parasympathetic nerve systems. And then also step outside or find a moment of stillness through meditation practices. I've got you a earful so far. I wanted to say a couple last things. So, major code will last all the way till February 3rd. Starting February 4th will be beginning of the spring. And we are here still marinating what's possible. Most likely we'll have something happen for the springtime. To do a vision board retreat. We're still talking, so more on that to come. But this is sort of my digitized version of what I hand draw as the New Year resolution, as the 2025 year in review with a timeline approach. Above the bar, positive emotion, positive experience, positive events. Below the bar, something happened not quite, and you want to use that to learn and recap the lessons and move forward with more of a clarity. So we will do that in our practice in the vision board retreat first before we envision what we would do in 2026. And like I mentioned, the time of that is more of February, March, rather than this particular time of year. I do have a few things lined up. We have a Lunar New Year celebration luncheon. Vision board, I said February 7th, but I think we haven't really talked through that yet. But also at the same time, March 21st will be spring equinox. We'll have a day in the park.
Okay, so it's not going to be a camping trip, just one day.
I have the cabins, so we can talk about if you wanted to camp out for the day. It's very weather dependent.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too much into the logistic planning until we get a little closer. But the general ideas, I have the cabin reserved from Friday to Saturday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
All right. So that's the end of this little share. As you know, we have the Secret Sisters of Houston group in Facebook. I also started the new YouTube channel talking about these winter wisdoms and expanded to eventually the 24 solar term seasonal mandala. So stay in touch. If you have questions or if you want to join any of those activities, just let me know. So we can pause there. And Claudia, I wanted to hear how you feel about today's material and what is coming up for you.
So I do really love this. It feels very in tune with me. I was born on the summer solstice, so the winter solstice has always been very dramatic in my life. And January has never felt like a start. So I don't. So it's time for rest. It's time to work it out. And I love the timing of this of the information that you're sharing because it's right in line. It's giving language. It's verbalizing what I feel is the truth of my own experience and body.
Mhm.
I love how it ties into the meridians and that, because I love Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine. So
No, I know. This is why we love the same kind of language and body of knowledge.
yeah, I love that. And this idea of being really gentle with myself, really sleeping in, this validates the permission I want to give myself to just take it more easy. And there's a lot of preparation for things that are going to, what I feel is going to launch. I feel really positive of what this year is going to be. And
Mhm.
to take that moment to really have that clarity, to really rest. And I love this extra encouragement to nourish myself in so that whatever gets launched has the energy to launch,
To sustain.
to sustain. Yes, thank
To
you.
sustain, yeah. This is why New Year resolution don't last.
It burns out, so I the language is really resonating with me and I love it. So thank
Awesome.
you so much. It's perfect timing, of course.
Absolutely. I love it. I got just a little thrill sharing the things that really is deep in my bones, if you will. Okay, well, Claudia, I hope that you get a chance to come visit Angie's house. This is like a stone throw from the beach. Was a store beach? What's the beach over there? Stored?
The beach?
What's the name of the beach?
Oh, Pareto Beach.
Pareto
On
Beach.
East Beach.
Yeah,
It's
so
on
the
the east
10th,
side.
10th
It's
Street
quiet. It's
area.
just quiet over here.
Oh, beautiful. And
Yeah.
I love the way what you've done with the soundproofing. It's so cool. It looks really cool.
I'm in awe when I came in because I have seen what it was before.
It
So
was
kudos to the man
workshop.
behind it, the man behind the
It
scene.
was a workshop, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, talk to you soon. We still need to have that coffee date
We
sometimes.
do.
Let's do it, okay?
We'll probably do it after this deep cold.
Mhm. Awesome. Yes. And Angie, I know I didn't get a chance to ask you. Do you want to say something about how this particular material does it resonate? Did you have any
Yeah,
insight?
yeah, it's a lot of information.
I bet.
I have a lot going on too, just like Angela here. Besides the same name we share, I have a full-time job, and then I have a partner over here, and we have where he's like, "Hey, you want to start a podcast?" Okay, and then this studio was born. So I have a lot of things going on myself. So
Yeah.
it's nice to learn a little bit and see what I can take in. What I learned about it is that I want to eat. I need to eat definitely more to sustain myself, and I love that the spring is coming.
Yes.
I
Spring
look
is
forward to the spring
always
coming.
coming.
That was my favorite slide.
Mhm. I would say that in acknowledging, even though we are in summer like that, some are seeds, some are seedlings, and others are perennials, right? The ones
Yeah.
that lives multiple years. You are still figuring out where you are. The way of winter is not doing nothing. The way of winter is to preserve, to sustain, to take the lessons learned from the fast growth activity time where you hardly get any chance to breathe. We've done that, let alone to recapitulate what served, what not. So even though we have new activities launched during the winter season, we are launching it softly. We are launching it with mindfulness. This is different than the hardcore go do it, get it done, check the box out, and make sure that it is pushed out. We're using more of attracting and pulling way to approach new endeavors so that, when the full growth period comes about, we already take our time to get ready for it and again sustain it, right? So I think that's a really a beautiful metaphor. The more I'm looking at it, the more I'm reflecting on my daily activity to say, am I doing too much too soon?
That's what I was
Or am I waiting for the slow blossom to come, yet at the same time learning the lessons in between? This is why this whole seasonal mandala thing, I'm starting with my friends. I don't want it to go out to the public and just started to deliver it until I have learned my ins and outs, lessons and such, so that when I am ready to come out to serve for the public, the mass crowd, there is something I can lean back to. I have strong bones that I have nurtured in the winter. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, I guess I'll see you very soon in person or on Zoom. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye bye.